what takes every holiday get-together to the next level? Amazing food, of course, and that's where Suzy Gazzellone of Suzy's Cake Angels comes in, and she's here to share her mouth-watering recipes for cakes, cookies, and cupcakes. Good morning. Thanks for coming in.
Good morning, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Cakes, cookies, cupcakes, three of my favorites.
They're my favorites too, and especially great for the holidays, right? We're coming up to the holidays, and this is actually why I decided to write my book.
Okay.
My new edition, holiday edition, and it's because we get overwhelmed with a lot of the baking, and what am I going to do? There's, you know, all our to-do lists, and so I wanted to create something a little more stress-free.
Nice.
Keep our stress levels down.
Yep.
So I came up with 20 recipes with cupcakes and cookies and my little bundt cakes that we're going to actually do today.
When I heard we're making a bundt cake, and then I was surprised in a very happy way that they were mini bundt cakes.
They're mini, yes.
Amazing.
I'm so excited because, you know, yes, traditionally you have the big pan and you know, that's what we know. But I have this little one here, this little mold that you can actually purchase on Amazon. And you can fill it up and just have that same effect, but in a miniature level. And they're great for gifts, you know, for teacher gifts, neighbors, you know, friends, family, to share them with people you love.
And your one big tip is to make sure you spray it.
Yes.
Okay.
I made sure I told Rick, you gotta spray. And even if you think that you did a good job in spray it a little more because you gotta get those crevices. Because the worst part is you do all this work and you don't want it to get stuck, and that can happen. Although I have a tip for you.
Okay.
If that happens and it gets stuck, just put it back in the oven for a couple minutes. Leave it at 350. And in about 5 minutes, take it out, let it sit for another 5 minutes, and then it should release.
Hacks aplenty.
Right there.
Okay, where do we start?
So we're gonna do my two-bowl method. I have my flour here, and I have baking powder, baking soda, and salt, and I'm gonna sift that. What I'm gonna get you to do while I'm sifting is, we've got some butter in here already, and we're gonna cream it with the sugar. If you can, if you can go ahead with the mixer, and we're gonna mix that. And what you wanna do is make sure that you get it to very creamy texture.
Okay.
And as you're doing that, I'm gonna add the orange zest. Now, I like adding the orange zest at this point in the process simply because the sugar and the butter rubbing against the zest itself releases its natural oils.
You can really smell it.
Yeah, you can smell it, and it actually accentuates more of that in taste and even the citrusy brightness in your baked good. Okay. So we did that, and now we're gonna add the eggs as you're mixing it.
Okay.
And again, we're gonna get it to a very creamy texture, and then we're gonna add the milk. And my policy on milk always, or any dairy product, the fatter the better. So use full fat milk.
Fatter the better. I'm liking where this is going.
I know. Listen, you're having dessert. It's very important to make sure that you use all the right ingredients and full fat ingredients, because it just adds to the taste, the texture, and the overall look and feel of the dessert, right? So we've mixed that in. You can continue. And I'm gonna add in the flour. And when you're doing this part, you want to just make sure that you mix it enough that it's covered, like the batter. You don't see too much of the flour, but not overly mixed, because if you overly mix, you will get a dense cake, and you don't want that, right? And so this is actually at a good point. That's perfect. Actually. Now we have my cranberries. And so for this recipe, you can use dried, fresh, or frozen like I have here. I like.
Do you prefer frozen?
Yeah, I actually do. I just find that it works better in a dessert. So my tip here is, when you have them frozen, don't thaw them out. I actually like to coat them with 1 to 2 teaspoons of flour. Coating them allows it to create a little barrier, so it prevents it from bleeding into the cake, and also from sinking to the bottom of the cake as well.
Nice.
So
I'm liking these tips.
Right? It's so fun, and little tricks that kind of help you.
Am I stirring this all together?
And now we're gonna fold them gently. And see, and so even as we're folding them, you're not seeing that bleeding. Not that it looks terrible, but you know, it really.
But when you bite into the mini bundt cake, you want a mouthful of a full cranberry, right?
Absolutely. And so once that's done, so we have this nice batter here. And then we just put them into the little molds. And you want to fill it about 3/4 full. Put it in the oven at 350 for about, I would say, 18 minutes. Check at the 18-minute mark. Sometimes, depending on the oven, you might need a minute or two. But at the 18 mark, you take out your toothpick, you should have a crumb or two, no
Yes.
big deal. And then, voila, this is what it looks like.
We got 30 seconds. I love the toppers.
Thank you. So I used a little bit of rosemary, some cranberries, and a cinnamon stick because it's very festive.
Wow.
Right? And then I have my chocolate crinkle cookies, which is a staple. That is a favorite. That was actually one of the first recipes that I wanted to put into
Really?
the
Okay.
book. They remind me of Christmas all around. Like, I'm indulging in those throughout the holiday season, definitely. And then we have the hazelnut mocha cupcakes.
Those
because
look
when you
outstanding
think
as well.
about it, you know, family gatherings and coffee and chocolate, what pairs well? And
Food.
cinnamon. Yes. And so all that information can be found on my website. You can pre-order now.
Yep.
Book comes out on Monday, December 8th.
Okay. Cheers. Happy holidays. And more Morning Live after the break. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much. Happy holidays.